Hey everyone, welcome to a new DeFi weekly video. Today we're going to be talking about what are NFTs and why you should care. So first of all, what does the word NFT actually stand for? So in short, it stands for non-fungible token. You're probably wondering, what does that actually mean? So what we're going to emphasize on here is the non-fungibility bit. So the opposite of fungible, or the other spectrum of non-fungibility, is of course fungibility. Fungible, yep, cool. So the best way to kind of explain this concept is if you think about something like a gold coin or like just standard cash coins. If I have a $1 coin and another $1 coin and another $1 coin, it doesn't really matter which specific coin I own, because really the whole point is that it's just $1. It doesn't matter which specific instance of the coin that I actually hold, right? So similarly, like even if we took, for example, like $50 notes, for example, if you pick up one $50 note versus the other, it doesn't really have any distinct property that makes it unique. If I own this one or I own this one, nobody really cares. So that's fungibility. Now, it must be pretty obvious by now. Non-fungibility is when the two items aren't the exact same. So let's say we've got house one, which is 2 bedrooms, and we have another house which only has a single bedroom. These two houses are not the same. And therefore you can say they're non-fungible with each other. So when we talk about fungible versus non-fungible tokens, all we're really saying is they're a certain class of crypto asset where either we care about the unique token itself or we don't. So in crypto, things that are fungible would be things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or kind of like any other regular token that you might have heard about till date, whether that's like Solana, Avalanche, etc. Non-fungible tokens, on the other hand, this is where you hear stories of people selling like artwork, metaverse land. What other crazy stuff is there? Music or music rights, videos. But as you can see, there are all of these classes of items that have uniqueness to them effectively. If I got one instance of the object and compared it to the other, it would make no difference. So when we talk about NFTs, we're talking about the class of essentially non-fungible tokens right here. Cool. So now that we understand the difference between fungibility and non-fungibility, let's talk about why NFTs are exciting. So currently a lot of the NFT market is basically photos. So there's kind of like a joke that your beautiful little sunset image, or JPEG, as it's known for short, costs $10,000. And people are saying, why would you ever pay $10,000 for a photo when I can basically copy and paste it and save it on my hard drive? And doesn't that mean I own it? Well, not really. So the whole point about crypto in the first place is that you have like this immutable proof. This immutable proof that you do indeed own the object in question. So when we talk about Bitcoin, it's like I can prove that I hold these many Bitcoins and they're mine, and I digitally or cryptographically own that. So in a similar way, you can prove that this photo belongs to you. And it's quite trippy because you might be saying, well, why does it matter if I own this photo? Like, what's the big deal about it? And I think the best way that I like to think about it is that it's basically kind of owning culture. So if we have, say, an artist and they say, I'm going to release some sort of new artwork and I'm going to make it into an NFT, everyone knows that when the artist released that piece of art, it was encoded as an NFT, and whoever owns the NFT is the rightful owner of that. Everyone knows the origins of it, so therefore whoever owns the NFT owns that cultural relic. And this is where a lot of NFTs have this property where if they're very much dependent on whether other people believe that they're valuable, which is honestly no different to art in the same way. So I don't think I can necessarily fully convince you whether you think NFTs are a good idea or not. Some people, no matter how much you explain to them, just think they're kind of useless. But if you can really wrap your head around the fact that in no period of time have people been able to basically capture an element of culture, encode it digitally, then prove digital ownership, and then create an asset out of that, it's fine. It's definitely a bit of a journey to kind of understand. And I think what people might get conflated with, it feels like every NFT is going to be valuable. And that is where I think, like, it's where the clarifying, it's not. At the end of the day, you still need to actually create something that people think is valuable and is actually high quality. Otherwise, it will eventually lose its value, regardless of whether it's a non-fungible or fungible token. So a lot of the NFTs coming out right now, a lot of them are money grabs, and they have a lot of hype and, let's say, a lot of froth in them. So I won't say just because you've created an NFT, it's inherently valuable. It's rather, right now, it is quite seasonal, but the pieces that are relevant stick around. So it's probably worth talking about, okay, like, so what makes a culturally valuable artifact? And the best example is that I can kind of think of is CryptoPunks. So their origin story was in 2018. They're one of the first proper NFT collections to come out of these basically like pixelated images of punks, effectively. And they were free to mint, which is really interesting, and they were generated randomly, and you would have to mint a random one. And that's really iconic for crypto culture. So fast forward a few years, by the time we reached 2021/22, what started off as a free kind of cultural artifact actually became north of like $1 million or a couple of $100,000. So that's what really, for example, in this instance, gives CryptoPunks values, because you can see that all the punks, you can see all their images, and you can see all the owners of that. And if you kind of believe in this culture or this story, you will be ascribing value to this. So that's one kind of example. Another thing is, like, if you're an artist and you create say a piece of art, similarly, because all your fans value that art, they will want to have ownership over it. So I've talked a lot about kind of why, like, how NFTs are valuable in certain instances, but they can also be exciting in other places like the metaverse, where you can own digital land. And if you have ownership over that digital land, then in those digital worlds, you might be able to earn rent and all this other stuff. And for the record, I do think these categories are still pretty overhyped. Artwork is somewhat mature, still has a lot of hype, but with NFTs, we're still kind of in this 1.0 phase. I believe like the next generation of NFTs will basically give you ownership to digital immersive experiences. But anyway, that's besides the point and for another thing. The problem with the current NFT landscape is that as I said before, it has a lot of hype, and it's really just people kind of saying, let me get an image and put it on the blockchain. Let me just do this and put it on the blockchain. And that kind of defeats the fact, or it doesn't defeat the fact, but it kind of doesn't make use of the fact that you've got this like provably unique digital asset. And I do think there's a lot of creativity in how people are utilizing this. Like, I think the Australian Open allowed you to buy NFTs of basically tennis balls for the Australian Open, and based on which tennis ball you buy, you basically get access to the video of the winning shot of that ball, and you get all these other physical in real redemption kind of mechanics around it. So suddenly this like digital asset also has like physical experience around it. So really the kind of design scope around the stuff is like unlimited. I don't think we really even touched most of it, but yeah, there's kind of this whole new generation that's going to come out, and like I don't think anyone's late at all. And I think the reason also why like NFTs are really exciting and what makes them interesting is when we kind of think about, these are rough numbers, but I think like DeFi, which is decentralized finance, makes up like 1% or less than that of the financial market, and NFTs make up like 1% of like the DeFi market. These numbers are a bit like, I'm not sure on the complete accuracy of these, but they're roughly in that ballpark where it's like NFTs are still such a young subsector of DeFi. But also the fact is they're highly accessible and are bringing a lot more normal people into crypto, because now you don't have to be like a finance nerd to really understand crypto. You can be like, this image of this cat's really cool, and I think this is going to be valuable, and I'm going to start collecting it to either build my collection or sell to someone else. And it's actually been really interesting kind of seeing all of my friends and just kind of normal people I know getting into NFTs and really getting involved with it. And that's why I think NFTs possess a really bright future for crypto, because they are very accessible and get people involved in. So anyway, that's like kind of the quick rundown of NFTs. If you have any other questions or want to learn more, let me know and I'll pump out another video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and look forward to hearing back your feedback on this one. Take care. Bye.